The universe isolates you for a reason. Have you ever noticed moments in life when everything feels like it's slipping away? Relationships grow distant, career paths feel uncertain, and a sense of loneliness settles in. It's tempting to see this as a punishment, as though life is working against you. But what if it's the opposite? Drawing from Carl Jung's profound insights, these moments of isolation are not meant to harm, but to transform. Just as an artist steps away from the canvas to see the bigger picture, life pulls you back to reveal truths about yourself. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something extraordinary. The concept of individuation. Life has a way of pushing us into uncomfortable spaces, often forcing us to confront emotions or experiences we'd rather avoid. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the deep and lifelong journey of becoming our most authentic selves. It is not about simply growing older or learning to adapt to what society expects from us. Individuation goes far deeper, into the hidden layers of our psyche, where our true essence resides. It involves stripping away the masks we've worn to meet expectations, those versions of ourselves crafted to please family, fit in at work, or gain the approval of others. These masks, though comforting, often prevent us from seeing who we truly are beneath the surface. This journey is not for the faint of heart. Individuation requires courage to step away from the familiar and venture into the unknown territories of our inner world. It is in this space that we begin to peel back layers of social conditioning, unearthing the beliefs, fears, and desires we've long buried. For someone in their 40s, this may feel particularly poignant. By now, many have spent decades meeting the demands of careers, relationships, and family responsibilities. There may be a nagging sense that something is missing, a quiet but persistent voice asking whether the life you've built truly aligns with who you are. That disconnection, while unsettling, is an invitation to start the work of individuation. Isolation often serves as the catalyst for this process. When the noise of daily life fades, when you find yourself removed from the opinions and influences of others, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. This solitude might not be something you sought. It may come as a result of a life change, like a divorce, a career shift, or even a sudden relocation. In these moments, it can feel as if life has taken something from you. Yet, Jung's teachings reveal a different perspective. These periods of isolation are opportunities to confront the self without distraction, to face the unvarnished truth of who you are when no one else is looking. As you delve deeper into this inner work, you may encounter the shadow. Jung described the shadow as the parts of ourselves that we reject or suppress. Traits we label as negative or undesirable because they don't align with the image we present to the world. These might be feelings of envy, anger, or insecurity. For someone juggling a career and family, it could be the guilt of craving personal freedom or the resentment of unmet expectations. The shadow is uncomfortable to confront, but it is not inherently bad. Jung believed it holds untapped energy and creativity, waiting to be integrated into our conscious selves. Individuation involves the painstaking process of bringing these shadow elements to light. It means acknowledging and accepting them as part of who you are, rather than shoving them aside. In doing so, you reclaim the energy spent hiding them, allowing for a sense of wholeness to emerge. Imagine it as cleaning out an attic filled with forgotten, dusty belongings. The work is messy, and some discoveries may be painful. But as the clutter clears, you begin to see the space for what it is, a place filled with potential and light. For many people, individuation begins to take root in midlife, when the patterns and habits that carried them through their 20s and 30s no longer serve them. You might find yourself questioning long-held beliefs, or feeling dissatisfied with things that once brought joy. This is not a failure, but a natural evolution, a signal that you are ready to go deeper. Just as a tree sheds its leaves to conserve energy for winter, you, too, may need to release parts of your identity to make way for growth. The path of individuation is rarely linear. It is a winding road with detours and setbacks. Some days, you may feel energized by newfound clarity, while others are clouded by doubt. Jung emphasized that this journey is not about reaching a final destination, but about ongoing discovery. Each step brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be, not the person shaped by external expectations. This process is deeply personal and unique to each individual. What feels transformative to one person may be irrelevant to another. The key is to trust the unfolding, even when it feels uncertain. Isolation, while often seen as a negative, plays an essential role in individuation. In solitude, you are free to examine your life without interference. It is a time to reflect on what truly matters, unfiltered by the opinions of others. Think of it as stepping back from a painting to see the full picture, rather than focusing on a single brushstroke. This distance allows you to identify patterns, understand motivations, and make intentional choices about the path forward. For those in their 40s, it might mean reevaluating career goals, renegotiating relationships, or rediscovering passions that were set aside years ago. Jung also spoke of the polarities within us, the conscious and unconscious, the masculine and feminine, the light and shadow. Individuation seeks to harmonize these dualities, creating balance and wholeness. For someone navigating midlife, this might look like embracing vulnerability after years of projecting strength, or finding joy and creativity after decades of practicality. These reconciliations are not about erasing differences, but about integrating them into a cohesive whole. As you journey through individuation, you may notice a shift in how you relate to the world around you. Decisions become less about pleasing others and more about aligning with your inner truth. Relationships deepen as you bring your authentic self to them. You may find yourself letting go of connections that no longer serve you, not out of anger or resentment, but because they no longer reflect who you are becoming. This can be a lonely process, but it is also liberating. By shedding the need for external validation, you gain the freedom to live in alignment with your values and desires. The journey of individuation is one of the most profound undertakings a person can embark on. It is not easy, and it is not quick. It demands vulnerability, courage, and a willingness to face the unknown. Yet the rewards are immense, a sense of wholeness, clarity, and authenticity that no external achievement can provide. Jung's teachings remind us that this process is not just for our benefit, but for the world's. When we become our true selves, we bring our unique gifts to the collective, enriching the lives of those around us. As you continue listening, remember that individuation is not about perfection. It is about becoming real. It is about embracing the messy, beautiful, contradictory parts of yourself and weaving them into a cohesive whole. The universe isolates you not to punish you, but to prepare you for this work. It strips away distractions and noise so you can hear the quiet truths that have always been within you. This is your journey, and it is unfolding exactly as it should. Understanding the shadow. Within each of us lies a part we rarely acknowledge, a collection of traits and desires we've hidden from the world, and often from ourselves. Carl Jung called this the shadow. It's not inherently evil or something to fear. It's simply unknown, concealed in the darker corners of our psyche. The shadow contains those aspects of ourselves that don't fit the image we've carefully curated over the years. It's the unspoken anger at being overlooked, the insecurity of not measuring up, or the jealousy we bury deep when we see someone living a life we silently crave. These emotions and traits linger not because they're inherently wrong, but because we've deemed them unacceptable under the expectations placed upon us by family, society, or even our own internal critic. In our 40s, the shadow often makes its presence known. This might appear as sudden outbursts of emotion, feelings of resentment, or even an unsettling sense of disconnection from the life we've worked so hard to build. For many, this can manifest in subtle ways. A sharp pang of envy when a friend talks about their recent creative endeavor, or a quiet dissatisfaction with a career that, on the surface, seems successful. These moments are not failures or signs of weakness, but signals that our shadow is trying to speak. It's calling us to pay attention to the parts of ourselves we've ignored for too long. Engaging with the shadow requires courage. It asks us to confront the traits we've been taught to reject, whether it's vulnerability, anger, or ambition that feels too bold. In doing so, we often uncover surprising truths about ourselves. For someone who's always been the peacemaker, the shadow might hold a fierce sense of independence that's been stifled for years. For someone who's prioritized career success, it might reveal a deep yearning for connection or creative expression. The shadow is not here to harm us. It's here to help us integrate these hidden parts and grow into a fuller, more authentic version of ourselves. Isolation plays a crucial role in this process. It's only when we step away from the noise of daily life that we can begin to notice the whispers of the shadow. When we're not preoccupied with fulfilling expectations or maintaining appearances, we can sit with our thoughts and emotions, however uncomfortable they may be. This solitude is not about retreating from the world forever, but about creating space to explore what lies beneath the surface. It's in these moments of stillness that we can begin to see our shadow not as an enemy, but as a source of untapped energy and potential. The journey of integrating the shadow can feel like a balancing act. We must learn to hold the tension between our light and dark sides without letting either dominate. For example, someone who has always been seen as selfless may need to embrace their desire for personal fulfillment without guilt, while someone driven by ambition might need to confront the fears that keep them from forming deeper connections. These reconciliations are not easy, but they are necessary for growth. They allow us to step out of rigid roles and live in a way that feels true to who we are. This process also transforms how we relate to others. When we embrace our own shadow, we become more compassionate toward the shadows of those around us. Instead of judging others for their flaws, we begin to see them as reflections of our own humanity. This shift can deepen relationships and foster a sense of connection that goes beyond superficial interactions. By accepting our own imperfections, we create space for others to do the same. For many, the shadow reveals its greatest lessons through discomfort. Perhaps it's the tension that arises in a difficult conversation or the unease that lingers after a missed opportunity. These moments are invitations to look inward, to ask ourselves what lies beneath the surface. They remind us that growth often comes from sitting with discomfort rather than running from it. By facing these feelings head-on, we begin to understand the stories we've told ourselves and the patterns that no longer serve us. Carl Jung believed that the shadow also holds immense creative potential. When we integrate these hidden parts of ourselves, we unlock energy that was previously spent keeping them in the dark. This energy can be channeled into art, innovation, or simply living with greater authenticity. For someone who has spent decades suppressing their creative instincts, this might mean picking up a paintbrush or writing that novel they've always dreamed of. For others, it might mean finding new ways to approach challenges at work or nurturing deeper relationships with loved ones. The possibilities are endless when we allow ourselves to access the full range of who we are. The shadow doesn't demand perfection. It asks for honesty. It asks us to look at ourselves with clarity and compassion, to acknowledge the parts we've hidden and invite them into the light. This doesn't mean we act on every impulse or indulge every desire. It means we understand and accept these parts without shame, recognizing that they are integral to our humanity. By doing so, we move closer to the wholeness Jung described, a state of being where all aspects of ourselves are harmonized. As you continue on this journey, remember that the shadow is not a problem to be solved, but a companion to be understood. It is the part of you that carries your fears and insecurities, but also your deepest dreams and desires. By listening to it, you begin to uncover the truth of who you are, not the version shaped by others' expectations, but the authentic self that has always been within you. This process is not easy, and it is not quick, but it is one of the most rewarding journeys you can undertake. In embracing your shadow, you embrace the fullness of your humanity, unlocking a sense of freedom and authenticity that no external achievement can provide. The role of solitude in transformation. Life often pushes us into moments of solitude, times when we feel separated from the world we once knew. These moments can feel isolating, but they are also invitations to transform. Solitude is not simply the absence of others. It is the presence of yourself unfiltered and unobscured. For someone in their 40s, solitude can take on a special significance. It often comes after years of navigating the responsibilities of work, family, and friendships, when you finally have the space to ask deeper questions about who you are and where you're going. This period of life offers a chance to reflect on what truly matters, and solitude becomes the fertile ground where that reflection takes root. In the quiet of solitude, we begin to uncover truths that are often drowned out by the noise of daily life. These truths are not always comfortable, but they are necessary. Solitude offers a chance to step back from the roles and routines that define us and to see ourselves with clarity. It allows us to question the paths we've taken and to consider whether they align with our deeper values. This is not about rejecting the life you've built, but about ensuring that it reflects the person you are becoming. In this sense, solitude is not a retreat from life, but a step toward living more authentically. Solitude also creates a space for creativity and renewal. When we are constantly surrounded by distractions, our minds have little room to wander or explore. But in solitude, we can access the depths of our imagination. This is where new ideas are born and where old ideas are refined. It's no coincidence that so many great thinkers, artists, and innovators have sought solitude as a means of tapping into their creative potential. For someone in midlife, this might mean rediscovering passions that were set aside years ago or finding new ways to express yourself. Whether it's through writing, painting, or simply thinking deeply about a problem, solitude can ignite a spark that leads to meaningful change. The transformative power of solitude is not limited to creativity. It also extends to our emotional and psychological well-being. In solitude, we are free to feel without judgment. We can sit with our emotions, even the difficult ones, and begin to understand them. This process of emotional introspection can be challenging, but it is also deeply healing. It allows us to process past experiences and to release the burdens we've been carrying. By facing our emotions head-on, we can move through them and emerge stronger on the other side. Solitude also strengthens our relationship with intuition. In the absence of external influences, we can hear our inner voice more clearly. This voice, often drowned out by the opinions and expectations of others, holds the wisdom we need to navigate our lives. By listening to it, we can make decisions that feel aligned with our true selves. This is not about isolating yourself permanently or rejecting the input of others. It's about creating the space to connect with your own inner guidance so that you can engage with the world from a place of authenticity. For many, solitude is a time of profound self-discovery. It is in these moments that we begin to see the patterns in our lives, the habits and beliefs that have shaped us. This awareness is a first step toward change. By understanding where we've been, we can make intentional choices about where we're going. Solitude gives us the clarity to see these patterns and the courage to break free from those that no longer serve us. The process of transformation that occurs in solitude is not always linear. It can be messy and unpredictable, filled with moments of doubt and uncertainty. But it is also deeply rewarding. Each step brings us closer to the person we were always meant to be. This journey is not about reaching a final destination, but about becoming more fully ourselves. It is about embracing the complexity of who we are and finding peace within that complexity. Solitude also teaches us resilience. In a world that often values constant connection and activity, choosing to spend time alone can feel countercultural. But it is in solitude that we learn to rely on ourselves. We discover our strength and our ability to face challenges without the constant validation of others. This inner strength is one of the greatest gifts of solitude. It allows us to move through life with confidence and grace, knowing that we can navigate whatever comes our way. The role of solitude in transformation is not limited to the individual. When we take the time to understand ourselves, we also become better equipped to connect with others. Solitude allows us to approach relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. It enables us to give freely without expecting anything in return. This shift can deepen our connections and create relationships that are more authentic and fulfilling. In solitude, we also gain a new perspective on time. away from the rush of daily life, we begin to see time not as a series of deadlines, but as a vast expanse filled with possibility. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. It allows us to focus on what truly matters and to let go of the rest. By embracing the present moment, we can live with greater intention and joy. Solitude is not about being alone forever. It is about creating a space where transformation can occur. It is a time to reflect, to create, and to heal. It is a time to reconnect with ourselves and to prepare for the next chapter of our lives. This process is not always easy, but it is always worth it. In solitude, we find the clarity and strength to become the person we were always meant to be. Synchronicity and meaning in isolation. In the quiet depths of solitude, where the external world feels distant, something remarkable begins to unfold. Patterns start to emerge in what once seemed like chaos, and connections appear between moments that felt entirely unrelated. Carl Jung described this as synchronicity, the profound interplay of events that seem coincidental but are deeply meaningful. When life isolates us, it's as if the universe is creating space for these patterns to reveal themselves, urging us to look closer and listen more intently to the whispers of our inner world. Synchronicity often becomes most apparent during periods of isolation because it is in these quiet moments that we have the clarity to notice the connections we might otherwise overlook. Imagine someone navigating a career change in midlife, uncertain about their next step. During this time of reflection, they might encounter a book, a conversation, or an unexpected opportunity that seems perfectly aligned with their unanswered questions. These moments feel like more than chance. They carry the weight of meaning, as though life itself is orchestrating events to guide them towards something deeper. For those in their 40s, synchronicity can feel like a gentle nudge from the universe, reminding them that their experiences, no matter how disjointed they may appear, are part of a greater narrative. This perspective is both comforting and empowering. It suggests that even the moments of struggle and disconnection serve a purpose. Isolation, rather than being a void, becomes a space where the threads of life can weave together in unexpected and transformative ways. When we encounter synchronicity, it often feels like a validation of our journey. It's as if the universe is confirming that we are exactly where we need to be, even if the path forward isn't yet clear. These moments can inspire a sense of wonder, reminding us that life is far more intricate and interconnected than we often realize. They encourage us to trust in the process, even when it feels uncertain. For someone reflecting on decades of life experience, synchronicity serves as a reminder that every choice, every detour, and every moment of stillness holds significance. Isolation plays a pivotal role in allowing us to perceive synchronicity. In the absence of external distractions, our awareness sharpens, and we become more attuned to the subtle cues around us. This heightened sensitivity extends beyond the external world to include our inner landscape as well. In solitude, dreams become more vivid, intuitions more pronounced, and emotions more accessible. These inner experiences often mirror the synchronicities we observe externally, creating a dialogue between our conscious and unconscious minds. Jung believed that synchronicity is not merely a phenomenon to be observed, but a gateway to deeper understanding. It invites us to explore the symbolic language of the unconscious, which communicates through archetypes, dreams, and meaningful coincidences. During isolation, when the noise of daily life subsides, these symbols rise to the surface, offering insights that can illuminate our path. For someone navigating a period of transition, these symbols may provide clarity about what truly matters, guiding them toward choices that align with their authentic self. The experience of synchronicity also challenges our conventional understanding of time. In moments of profound connection, the past, present, and future seem to blur, revealing a sense of timelessness. A memory from years ago may suddenly feel relevant to a current decision, or an intuition about the future may inspire action in the present. This fluidity of time can be both disorienting and liberating. It reminds us that life is not a linear progression, but a rich tapestry where every thread is interwoven. For someone in midlife, this perspective can bring a sense of relief. It suggests that the experiences and lessons of the past are not wasted, but are integral to the unfolding of the present and the creation of the future. Even the moments of pain and loss contribute to the larger picture. Synchronicity transforms these experiences into opportunities for growth and understanding, offering a sense of coherence that transcends the limitations of logic. In the stillness of isolation, we also begin to recognize the role of intuition in guiding us towards synchronicity. Intuition is not a magical force, but a deeply human capacity to perceive patterns and connections that are not immediately obvious. It is the quiet voice that urges us to take a leap of faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. Isolation gives us the space to hear this voice more clearly, allowing us to trust in its wisdom. The interplay between synchronicity and intuition creates a dynamic process of self-discovery and transformation. As we notice meaningful coincidences and act on our intuitions, we deepen our connection to our inner world and to the larger forces at play in our lives. This process is not about controlling or predicting the future, but about embracing the mystery of life with openness and curiosity. It is about trusting that the universe has a rhythm and that we are a part of it. Isolation also provides an opportunity to reflect on the synchronicities that have already occurred in our lives. Looking back, we may see how seemingly unrelated events have converged to shape who we are today. These reflections can be profoundly validating, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, we were being guided toward growth and understanding. For someone in their 40s, this perspective can bring a sense of peace and gratitude, fostering a deeper appreciation for the journey. As we engage with synchronicity during isolation, we begin to see life as a dialogue rather than a series of random events. Each moment carries a potential for meaning, and each interaction offers an opportunity for growth. This shift in perspective can transform how we approach challenges, relationships, and decisions. It encourages us to look beyond the surface and to seek the deeper currents that connect us to ourselves and to the world around us. The beauty of synchronicity lies in its ability to reveal the interconnectedness of all things. It reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a vast and intricate web of life. In moments of solitude, when the distractions of the external world fade away, we can feel this connection more deeply. It is in these moments that we realize we are never truly alone. The universe is always communicating with us, guiding us toward our highest potential. Through synchronicity, isolation becomes a space of discovery and renewal. It is a time to explore the patterns and connections that shape our lives and to embrace the mystery of existence with an open heart. It is a reminder that even in the stillness, life is unfolding in ways that are meaningful and profound. As we listen to the quiet whispers of the universe, we find ourselves transformed, not by what we do, but by what we allow ourselves to see and feel. This is the power of synchronicity, a gift that emerges when we create the space to receive it. The dark night of the soul. There are moments in life that feel heavier than anything we've ever known, moments where the world seems to close in and our sense of purpose dissolves. This is what Carl Jung and other thinkers have described as the dark night of the soul. It is not simply a phase of sadness or discontent, but a profound spiritual and psychological transformation that strips away everything familiar. For someone in their 40s, it may come unexpectedly, even after years of carefully constructed stability. The career that once defined you might feel hollow. Relationships that seemed unshakable may grow distant. Or you might wake up one day and feel entirely disconnected from the life you've built. It's a place of immense challenge, but also of extraordinary potential. The dark night of the soul is often misunderstood as a punishment or a failure. It can feel like everything is falling apart, like the ground beneath you is crumbling, leaving nothing but uncertainty and despair. But in Jungian thought, this darkness is not an ending. It is a beginning. The breakdown of what you know is necessary to make space for what is yet to come. The soul, in its wisdom, recognizes when the old ways of being no longer serve you. It orchestrates this dark night not to harm, but to guide you toward your truest self. This journey is one of deep purification. It forces you to confront your fears, insecurities, and illusions, stripping away the layers of identity that have been built to meet external expectations. The roles you've played, whether as a professional, a parent, or a partner, are questioned, and you are left to face yourself as you truly are. This confrontation can be painful, especially when it involves acknowledging aspects of yourself you've ignored or suppressed. Yet it is only through this raw honesty that real transformation can begin. Isolation is often a defining feature of the dark night of the soul. During this time, you may feel cut off from others, as though no one truly understands what you're experiencing. This isolation is not accidental. It creates the conditions necessary for introspection and inner work. Without the distractions of external validation or the comfort of familiar routines, you are left to navigate the vast terrain of your inner world. This solitude, though challenging, is a gift. It allows you to listen to the whispers of your soul, to discover the truths that have been buried beneath the noise of daily life. In this darkness, you may also encounter your shadow in its most intense form. The fears and doubts you've pushed aside, the desires you've deemed unacceptable, and the memories you've avoided all rise to the surface. This is not a punishment but an opportunity. By bringing these hidden aspects into the light, you begin the process of integration. You learn to accept yourself not as a fragmented being, but as a whole, complex, and beautifully flawed human. This acceptance is the foundation of authenticity and wholeness. The dark night of the soul is not a linear journey. It is marked by waves of despair and clarity, moments of surrender and resistance. There are times when it may feel endless, as though you will never emerge from the darkness. Yet it is in these moments of surrender, when you stop fighting the process, that the deepest transformations occur. The soul does not rush its work. It moves at its own pace, dismantling the old to create space for the new. This process is often compared to the alchemical stage of calcination, where a substance is reduced to its most basic elements before being transformed into something entirely new. In the same way, the dark night of the soul burns away the illusions and attachments that no longer serve you, leaving only the essence of who you are. This symbolic death can be terrifying, but it is also profoundly liberating. It is an act of love from the universe, guiding you to release what is false and embrace what is real. For someone in their 40s, this experience may coincide with a midlife reassessment. You might find yourself questioning whether the path you've been on is truly yours, or if it was shaped by the expectations of others. The dark night of the soul challenges you to let go of the external markers of success and fulfillment, and to seek meaning within. It invites you to redefine your purpose, not based on what the world values, but on what your soul craves. Amid the darkness, there are glimmers of light. These moments of insight and clarity remind you that the struggle is not in vain. They offer a glimpse of the transformation taking place, a reminder that you are being shaped into a fuller, more authentic version of yourself. These moments often come when you least expect them. A quiet realization during a walk, a dream that feels profound, or a sudden sense of peace after weeks of turmoil. They are the universe's way of reminding you that you are not alone, that even in the darkness, you are held. The dark night of the soul also deepens your connection to the divine or the sacred, whatever that means to you. It strips away superficial beliefs and forces you to confront the mysteries of existence. In this space of raw vulnerability, you may find a new relationship with the divine, one that is not based on dogma or tradition but on direct experience. This relationship is deeply personal and transformative, rooted in the depths of your soul rather than the structures of the external world. Emerging from the dark night of the soul is not a return to the person you were. It is a rebirth. You come out on the other side with a deeper understanding of yourself and a renewed sense of purpose. The life you create from this place is not dictated by societal expectations, but by your own inner truth. This rebirth is both internal and external. It changes how you see yourself and how you engage with the world. You are no longer bound by the fears and illusions that once held you back. Instead, you move through life with a sense of freedom and authenticity. The dark night of the soul is one of the most challenging experiences a person can endure, but it is also one of the most profound. It is a journey that strips away what no longer serves you and reveals the truth of who you are. It is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found, not outside of you, but within. This light is your essence, your authenticity, your soul. It is the part of you that remains steady and strong, no matter how much the external world shifts. As you navigate this journey, remember that you are not alone. The universe isolates you not to punish you, but to prepare you for this transformation. It gives you the space to shed the old and embrace the new, to discover the depths of your soul and the heights of your potential. Trust the process, even when it feels unbearable. The darkness is not the end. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one that is truer, deeper, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. Conclusion: life's moments of isolation, no matter how painful, hold the potential to reshape and transform us in ways we might never have imagined. They strip away distractions, pushing us to confront the depths of our being and uncover the truths that lie beneath. Carl Jung's teachings remind us that these periods are not punishments, but profound invitations to reconnect with our essence. Through individuation, the integration of the shadow, and the quiet revelations of solitude, we are guided toward a more authentic version of ourselves. These experiences are not easy, but they carry the promise of renewal, a chance to live in alignment with who we truly are. The journey is ongoing, filled with challenges and moments of clarity. The darkness may seem overwhelming, but it is also where the seeds of transformation are planted. As you navigate your own path, trust that every step, no matter how uncertain, is leading you closer to your purpose. Let this be an invitation to embrace isolation, not as an end, but as a beginning. When the universe removes you from the noise, it is creating space for something greater. Lean into that space and let it shape the life you are meant to live.